From Palmer Field at O'Shaughnessy Stadium here on the campus of the University of St. Thomas in St. Paul, Minnesota, the national quarterfinals of Division III football saw St. Thomas defeat Hobart by the score of 47-7. I'm Pat Coleman. This is my D3 football report as St. Thomas rolled out to a 32-7 lead at the half and was basically untouched from there. Back-to-back runs by Brenton Braddock, a touchdown run of 4 yards early on and a touchdown run of 2 yards later as St. Thomas started both of its possessions inside Hobart territory to open the game. In fact, St. Thomas picked up the ball on the on the Hobart 4-yard line. It was in the end zone 2 plays later for the first score of the game, taking that 7-0 lead with 12:53 to go. Braddock's second run came after a shanked punt or a short punt, just a 32-yard drive to make it 15-0. And then Hobart broke through on a 4th down and short, 4th and less than 1. Stephen Webb broke through and ran for 66 yards for a touchdown to cut the Tommy lead to 15-7. However, St. Thomas answered with another Brenton Braddock touchdown run. Paul Gropner had a 42-yard field goal, and then St. Thomas scored again on a touchdown pass to tight end Matt Allen with 10 seconds to go in the first half. And basically Hobart more or less didn't threaten in the second half. On the final play of the game, Hobart with its backups in against St. Thomas's backups threw a pass that was picked off in the flat and run back into Hobart territory, but was brought down, and the final score ended up being 47-7. Some of the offensive numbers, they were not pretty for Hobart, although they end up nicely thanks to a couple of big plays. One of them, the 66 yards rushing on the touchdown run by Webb, so that ended up with 28 carries for 140 yards for Hobart. On the afternoon, they threw for 154 yards to finish with a net of 294 yards of total offense. But St. Thomas really balanced on in both phases of the offense. 215 yards on the ground, 248 yards through the air for 463 yards. Matt O'Connell with 14 passes or 14 completions on 28 attempts, and then it was Kyler Anderson finishing it off. He also had a 46-yard rush for St. Thomas to help add to those rushing totals. Brenton Braddock was the big scorer on the ground. He had 4 touchdown carries to finish the day with 94 yards rushing. And Dan Ferrazzo had 6 catches for 103 yards. He didn't score a touchdown, but Ferrazzo scored twice on 2-point conversions. One of them a design play where St. Thomas ran the swinging gate and never brought the line back into position, snapped it to Ferrazzo, who was the holder, and Ferrazzo ran for the corner of the end zone and got in. Then the second one was a PAT that was blocked by D3 Coleman of Hobart, but it bounced right into the hands of Ferrazzo, and Ferrazzo ran that in for a 2-point conversion as well. And St. Thomas had a lot of big plays passing. They had at least 6 plays of 20 yards or more. Matt Mishevitz had a 34-yard catch, Dan Ferrazzo a 29-yard catch, Logan Marks, the tight end, a 22-yard catch, and Charlie Dowdle, the freshman receiver, had 1 catch for 28 yards. As St. Thomas really had a fair amount of success both throwing the ball and rushing the ball. Hobart early on, one of the first plays of the game, lost Devin Worthington, outside linebacker, who was one of their standouts on the defensive side of the ball, and then D3 Coleman, who was double-teamed pretty much the entire game by the St. Thomas offensive line. He's a defensive end, a sophomore. He had to take a break in the third quarter. He had to pull him out of the game because he was getting winded. Again, the final score is St. Thomas defeating Hobart by the score of 47-7. St. Thomas awaits the winner of the Linfield, Wisconsin Oshkosh game. That's my D3 football report, and I hope to see it on D3football.com.